Hey, what's up, Musers? This is John at Muse for You, here to help you build awesome websites without code. And in this quick tip, we're going to be animating text on scroll in Adobe Muse. But before I get started, I just wanted to mention the Adobe Max conference. I did want to make more videos on my time there and the things I was doing, but I just got caught up in all of it. So I wasn't able to make any videos on it, but it was really amazing. I was really happy to meet everyone. I got to meet the Adobe Muse team, and they're all amazing. And I got to meet a lot of great people. And I even went to a few sessions where I learned more about the different Adobe products, which it was just really great. And the keynote was amazing. And I actually think you can watch the keynotes at max.adobe.com if you want to go ahead and check those out and see all the new, all the different products Adobe is working on and the different updates they're coming out with their software. And I want to thank everyone who came to my lab. It was a lot of fun. I got to give away free mugs and stickers. I'm an official Muse sticker that I gave out at the end. But if you did go to my lab, then you did receive the simple and sweet on-scroll animations, and we're actually going to be using that widget in this video tutorial. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to be starting this tutorial. There was a recent update with Adobe Muse. It's now Adobe Muse 2017, and I'll go over those updates in a later video tutorial. So it should be fairly quick. I am going to cover a few other topics, so it might be over 5 minutes, and this intro probably doesn't help with the timing, but we'll go ahead and get started. It's animating text on scroll in Adobe Muse. So here I'll just preview what we'll be working with. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and if I scroll down, we can see the text is animating. It's zooming in as we're scrolling. So that's using the simple and sweet on-scroll animations, and I have a few breakpoints just to showcase that it works across breakpoints. So here I've resized the browser, and there we can see the text is zooming in. Looks good. So we can pick a few different effects. So I'm using the simple and sweet on-scroll animations. So here I have it set to zoom in. So we can do a few different ones. We can do, let's try fade right. And I'll scroll down and we can see that text is fading in from the right, just like that, which is a lot of fun. So let me resize the browser. I'll scroll down and there we go, fading in from the right. So this can be an interesting effect if you want to add more or make your website a bit more dynamic and add some really nice effects to it. Before I get started with showing how to do this, it's very simple, but before I get started, I want to show everyone who uses Adobe Muse a really cool program that I found so that you can check your website on iPhones or different iPhone devices. It's called Xcode, and I actually knew about this before, but I didn't realize how useful it could be when developing your website until recently, or I didn't bother to kind of work with it until a few days ago. But here you just open up Xcode, and it comes, I believe, stock with most MacBooks and iMacs. Most MacBook computers have Xcode. So you can just open it up. You can just create a new playground. Just call it My Playground, that's fine, and save it somewhere. So you can I'll just click Create, and I'll replace My Playground because I've already created one. And at first, all you get is this. So, it looks a bit weird, kind of like it's for developers and coders. You don't have to worry about this screen here. But if you go to Xcode right up here, and you go to Open Developer Tool, and you click on Simulator, you're actually going to get an iPhone simulator. Now this is really great. I might actually make an individual tutorial on this, but I did want to mention this in this video tutorial. This is mimicking or showing me an iPhone 6 device, and all of the functionality of it is right here on my computer. If I go to hardware and I go to device right up here, I can pick between iPhone 4S to iPad Pro, iPad Air, iPad 2, iPhone 6, all of these iPhone and iPad devices, and I can even do an Apple TV, which is amazing. So here I'll just go down. Here we can see we have Safari, so I'll click on Safari, and just like an iPhone, we have the site. Here I've already pasted the URL, so I'm going to go in here in my browser. I'm going to copy this URL, so I'll hit Command C to copy, And one thing that I found when working on this is that if you click in the URL tab right up here and you hold down Command V, nothing happens, but you need to select Command V first and then just click once and then paste. So if you try to paste first, it's not going to paste. You actually need to do Command V and then click once and then paste into the URL here. I'm not sure why that is, but you do have to hit Command V first and then paste by clicking once and then clicking on paste. All right, here I'll hit enter, and here I have the website. So I'm literally looking at my site and how it will look on an iPhone 6. And as I can see here, it says iPhone 6 as well. So here I'll scroll down, and there we can see how the text will look on an iPhone 6. So it's a nice little subtle effect. Sometimes it's not even noticeable if the user is really scrolling kind of quickly, but the text does fade in from the right, and it could just be a nice way to add some styling to your website, to different text and images and things like that. All right, so let me scroll back up, and if you scroll back down, I have it so it repeats on scroll, just like that. All right, so that's a cool little feature. I probably could have made a quick tip just on that, but I did want to mention it in this video tutorial because I think it's really a really great feature. All right, so I'll go back into animating text on scroll in Adobe Muse. So let's create a new site. So I'll go to File, New Site, and I'll click OK. Now I'll double click on the home page, and I'm just going to copy this title here just for demonstration purposes. I'll hit Command C to copy. I'll right click and paste in place. And actually I'm going to paste and create breakpoints. So here I have, I'll do that one more time. By right clicking and clicking on paste and create breakpoints, it places in the breakpoints that were on that previous site. So the 600 breakpoint and the 480 breakpoint. All right, looks good. So now the next fun part, let me just zoom out. I'll add some more website space. There's one feature that I haven't talked a lot about in Adobe Muse, and that is the content panel. If we go to Window and click on Content, we have this content panel, and this is very useful, and I'll show this in a second. And yeah, so let me go into my browser here. And for this website, I'm going to use what's called Lorem Ipsum. There's a lot of different Lorem Ipsum generators. There's a cool one that has kind of hipster text, and Lorem Ipsum is just kind of like dummy text. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't mean anything. It's just kind of for demonstration purposes, or if you're building your website and you want sample content. So I'm going to go to hipsum.co and hit enter, and I have this hipster Ipsum. So here I can choose the number of paragraphs. I can set the type. Hipster neat is fine, and then I'll click Beer Me, which is how you get access to the Lorem Ipsum. So here we have 4 different paragraphs, and just like that, I have dummy text for my site. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this text here, and I'll hit Command C to copy. Then I'll go into Muse, hit Command V, and paste. And here I have my text. All right, and I'm just make it a little bit wider here. Just like that, I have my text. And one thing that's great about the content panel, if I click on this text here and I go to collection and I click on this plus symbol, I can add what's called a content. I can add this content to the content panel. So I'll call this one paragraph. Okay. So now if I want to bring another paragraph just like this, I can just click, hold, and drag and place that right in there, and I have that paragraph again. So it's a nice way if you have duplicate content across your site, you can just store it in the content panel and then just drag it into Adobe Muse. All right, so let me go back in, and I'm going to, actually I'll close this. I'll go back in here and I'll select 2 paragraphs, and I'll just paste it in there, and just like that. And then again, I'll go into the content, I'll click the plus symbol, and I'll say 2 paragraphs, just like that. And there we have 2 paragraphs. All right, and I'll go back in here and I'll do 3 paragraphs. So it just depends how many different content tags you'd like. Here I have 4 paragraphs. I'll just stretch this out just like this. I'll go back into the content panel. This one should not be called content here. Let me rename that. So 2 paragraphs. I'll go into this one, create a new content, and I'll say 3 paragraphs. And I'll do one more just for demonstration purposes. I'll hold down Shift and select 4 paragraphs. So just like that, I have these reusable content tags here that I can just drag and drop onto any page of my website. Say 4 paragraphs. All right, and I can create a new collection just like that by clicking on this new collection symbol here that looks like a piece of paper with a folded corner. All right, so there I have my different content. I'm going to go ahead and just place different content in different places on my website, just to make it a little bit interesting, make it look like there's like a real site here. I'll use the vertical move handle to move elements down, copy and paste, and there we go. Place this text here. I'll place this text, copy this, place it there, just like that. Copy this again, place it right down here, and we'll do something like this. So we have quite a bit of text on the page. Okay, and I'll go ahead and see how this looks like on my different breakpoints as well. I'm going to move this down so we don't see it initially, and it will animate on scroll. Here I'll go to my 600 breakpoint. That does not look good. What I'll do is delete these breakpoints, just like that, and then I'll right click, add breakpoint. I'll say 600, and they should be responsive width. If they're not, yeah, so what I want to do with each of these text boxes is just select them all and then go to the resize and say responsive width. This will ensure that, I'll delete this breakpoint. This will ensure that when I create a new breakpoint, the text boxes will just get smaller. As we can see, they are smaller on this breakpoint, and I don't have to do a lot of work with resizing everything. So again, I did that by making sure that these text boxes were resized first, or responsive width first, and then I created the breakpoint. So if you find that on your breakpoints everything is kind of out of whack, just delete the breakpoints and then re-add them, and it'll be easier. If your elements are responsive width or responsive width and height, they'll just resize on the breakpoint like so. So I'll create a 480 breakpoint, and just like that we have the text resized on this breakpoint. Looks good. So I have my text and I have my different breakpoints. So now I can bring in the simple and sweet on-scroll animations widget. So to do that, I'll go to my library panel. If you don't see your library panel, you can go to Window and click on Library. So here I'll type in SSOSA, which is short for simple and sweet on-scroll animations. Here I'll bring in the add first, and I'll place it right at the top. And I'll bring in the simple and sweet on-scroll animations widget. So here I have the widget. We can see the graphic style name is on-scroll1. So I'll just zoom out. And now to apply the same graphic style to all the text boxes, all I have to do is highlight all of these text boxes, and oops, don't want to do that. Let me zoom in a little bit. I just want to highlight all of these text boxes, just like that. And here I'll go to my graphic styles panel. If you don't see your graphic styles panel, you can go to Window and click on graphic styles. And then here I'll click on this little icon that looks like a piece of paper with a folded corner. I'll click on it, and then the graphic style gets created. I'll double click, and I'll say on scroll 1. Just like that. So that's all you have to do there, is assign the graphic style name to all of these text boxes. So you just select them all, click on graphic styles, create a new graphic style, and rename it to on scroll 1. And then each of these elements, these text boxes, has the graphic style on scroll 1 applied to it. So I'll go ahead and preview in the browser. So right now, the animation is fade up. So let's see how that looks. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll down, and we can see it fades up ever so slightly. And if I resize the browser, it happens as well. It's not super noticeable, so I'm going to slow down the duration. I'm going to say 800 milliseconds. And I'll change the effect to something a little bit more noticeable, maybe zoom in. I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and I'll scroll down. And as we can see, that text zooms in as I'm scrolling down. So let me resize it. On the 480 breakpoint, it zooms in as well. So it's as simple as that, creating your text, assigning the graphic style name to the text after you've placed the widget in Adobe Muse, and then just kind of playing with the animation, the anchor placement. I could do it once it reaches the top of the text reaches the center of the browser, so you can mess with or play with the anchor placement. You can play with the easing. I can say ease out cubic. There's a few different easing options here. You can choose an anchor offset, animation duration, animation delay, and there's a bit of description here on how to use the widget as well, and you can disable it at a certain breakpoint, and you can play the animation once, or every time the user scrolls past the elements, it'll animate as well. So let me preview again, preview page in browser. I'll scroll down, and there we have it. It's a bit slower, looks really nice. It's just a nice effect for your website visitors. Looks good. Perfect. Now if I wanted to check it on the iPhone 6, all I have to do is hold down Shift to clear the cache and hit refresh, and it'll load. Hopefully a bit quicker here. Actually, let me hit Command C. The website name changed here, so I'll have to go in here, hit Command V, click once, and paste, and then hit Enter. There we go. So let me just start scrolling down, and there we can see the text animates. I probably should have started with 800 milliseconds in the beginning because it looks really nice when the duration is at 800 milliseconds. It's really noticeable, the animation. All right, looks good. So this is here using Xcode, and if I wanted to use iPhone 5S, I could go in here, iOS, and select the iPhone 5S. And it'll take a moment because it's literally recreating an iPhone 5S on your computer, which is pretty amazing. Here, while it's doing that, I'll just check out the animation here. Let me resize the browser, and just like that, we have that animation. Looks great. All right, so here we are on the iPhone 5S. I'll go to Safari, hit Command V to paste, hold down, click on the URL, and then paste, hit Enter, and just like that, I'm on an iPhone 5S, and we can see the text there. Let me see if I can grab the, no, I'll have to, the mouse clicking and dragging up is kind of like using your finger. So, and if you have a touchscreen, this might work by touching the screen. Or maybe it might just be for desktops and laptops, but all right, here we go. Looks good. Xcode, yeah, might just be for desktops and laptops. So here I'm just clicking with my mouse, and that's kind of acting as my finger clicking and holding on a device. All right, so there we go. That's Xcode. That's animating text on scroll in Adobe Muse. We used lorem ipsum. We also used the content panel in Adobe Muse. So if I go back to the plan view, let's say I wanted to create another page, I'll double click. I can go to my content panel and just drag in 2 paragraphs just like that. And just like that, I have 2 paragraphs on this page. Depending if you have duplicate content, this can be very useful. You can have multiple collections with different text in each collection. You can also add the text to your CC libraries. I can actually right click, add to library, or excuse me, right click, or let me open up my CC libraries. I can, I believe, click, hold, and drag. Yep, right in there. And just like that, that text is in my CC libraries, and I can click, hold, and drag from the CC libraries, and it'll always be there. With the content, it's only for each individual website. It doesn't go into another new website. So if you start a new website, so if I were to go to File, New Site, and click OK, and I go to my content, we can see that content isn't there. So it's for each individual website. If you did want it across multiple websites, or if you wanted to access your content everywhere, you could add it to your CC libraries like I just did by click, holding and dragging, and then it'll add it to your CC libraries, and then you have access to it anytime you'd like from your CC libraries. All right, so that's it for this video tutorial. We did it across breakpoints. We added the simple and sweet on different breakpoints. We see that it worked on multiple breakpoints, and we've changed the animation and things like that. Yeah, we used Xcode, And yeah, just had fun with the simple and sweet on-scroll animations to add a little bit more styling to the website and a bit more animation. So that's it for this video tutorial. Again, I do this to help you build awesome websites without code. Yeah, it was really amazing at the conference. Thanks for everyone who came. And yeah, if you have any questions on this video tutorial, let me know below. This was a bit longer than 5 minutes, but I had a lot of kind of information to share and just wanted to make a really nice video tutorial for you. The next video tutorials I'll be creating will be on the updates to Adobe Muse, and I have a really fun widget that I think a lot of you will like. I'll be coming out with that this weekend. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, it's been a really fun ride just working with Adobe Muse, meeting everyone at the conference, and hopefully, you know, I'll be there next year and talking more about Adobe Muse. But for now, this is going to be a really fun year for Muse for You. I have a lot of great widgets in mind and a lot of great tutorials that I'll be creating. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.